Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today we will be talking about soy. It's another very hot topic. There have been so many claims in social media, in the press over the years, some really scary things to be honest. Claims that soy might be causing certain cancers, that it can lead to the feminization of men because of hormone-like substances in the soy. So very, very scary, and people do avoid soy as a result. So it's always worth looking at these claims, seeing what's true and what isn't. So that's what we'll be doing in this video, so stay tuned. So soy is becoming increasingly popular in the UK, and particularly among the vegan community, because soy is such a versatile food product. It can be made into all sorts of imitation meat products, can be made into soy milk, soy cream, to replace the dairy versions of these products. So really, really popular food source at the moment. But it can also be used for fermented soy products as well, which are also used quite a lot. And also not forgetting tofu, which is also a staple in many Asian diets as well. And naturally, we want to make sure that what we're eating is safe and it's healthy. So which is it? Is soy a really great nutritional product, fantastic for protein and other vitamins and minerals, something vegans can make full use of? Or is it actually packed with hormones that can have really negative health consequences? Let's take a look at this. So what is it exactly about soy that makes people so worried? Now, soy is a very, very rich source of something called isoflavones. Now, these compounds are a type of phytoestrogen, which is incredibly similar to the human estrogen hormone. Now, this can bind to human estrogen receptors in the body, which makes people very worried that it could act in a similar way to estrogen in the human body if it is ingested. However, these phytoestrogens are still different from the actual hormone estrogen. They look very similar, but there are still some key differences, and it can sometimes either have the opposite effect of estrogen in the body, or it can actually just have no effect at all. So I have had a quick look at some of the most recent studies with regards to soy and cancer. So there have actually been quite a lot of very large-scale studies. So these large-scale studies are called systematic reviews and meta-analyses. These studies look at a wide range of different smaller studies and form an opinion on these in that way. So there have been actually a lot of different cancers investigated with these studies. These studies have included breast cancer, colorectal cancer, lung cancer, gastric, prostate and endometrial cancers. So lots of different types of cancers have been looked at. So all the studies that I personally have looked at have been associated with either a reduction of risk of these cancers or a reduction of risk of death from these cancers. So the degree to which this risk was reduced was different between the different types of studies, different types of cancers as well, and also the people, the patients that they actually looked at. There were some slight differences between a patient being premenopausal, for instance, and if they were postmenopausal with regards to breast cancer. So some slight differences there as well, but overall, soy did reduce the risk of all of these. Now, I did find something which was really, really interesting. So apparently, soy reduces the risk of breast cancer. Some studies have shown this anyway. It reduces the risk of breast cancer more if it is consumed earlier in life. There's been a study that found that girls aged 5 to 11, if this population of girls ate soy, their risk of breast cancer later on in life was reduced more than if someone who was older ate soy. I did watch a really good webinar by soy expert Dr. Mark Messina on this topic, and he suggested about 1 serving of soy per day for the girls in this age category because it could reduce risk of breast cancer in later life. So really useful information there and well worth implementing with younger girls. So now if we go on to look at the impact of soy on men's health and their hormone levels, there have been so many concerns that soy leads to the feminization of men, that it can disrupt their levels of hormones, so the levels of testosterone in particular and estrogen in their bodies. There have been actually quite a few studies now investigating the impact of isoflavones on men's health, and there was a recent, in 2021 actually, really recent meta-analysis, so a large-scale study about this topic, and they concluded that soy isoflavones do not alter estrogen levels or testosterone levels in men. 2010. So hopefully that will put your mind at rest with regards to this matter. And this was also shown in an older study as well, back in 2010, very similar, found pretty much the same thing as well. So interesting, a lot of these concerns did originate from animal studies. Now, animal studies cannot be generalized to humans as well. We have very different bodies, and the way that substances work in animal bodies is very different to the way that some substances work in human bodies as well. So that has all since been debunked. Also, these studies did use soy and isoflavones from soy in extremely high amounts that we would never usually eat isoflavones in. So that showed why that in these animal and laboratory studies, it had very, very different effects than what we would see in humans. And also there are a few big headlines in the press which did set off this concern as well. So there was particularly an article by the Men's Health magazine back in 2009, and it was titled, "Is this the most dangerous food for men?" So a really, really scary title for starters. But this article was focused on one case study of a single man who had a very rare condition which caused his breast tissue to swell up. And this was thought to be due to soy consumption, but it was thought to be highly unusual. And also, he was drinking 3 litres of soya milk per day, which is an extortionately large amount. And also, just to quickly look at some other health outcomes of soy. So there have been, again, lots of other large-scale studies that I looked at, which showed that the relationship between soy or isoflavone consumption had a very beneficial effect on other health conditions as well. So these health outcomes included heart disease, bone health, cognitive function, and also cholesterol levels. So particularly the bad cholesterol in your blood, there was some lowering effects on that with soy. And it was also been shown to reduce the frequency and severity of hot flashes in those with menopause as well. And also, just generally, it's a really good source of protein, really complete source of protein as well, very high quality. So this is just really good for vegans, to be honest, really good way to get some protein into our diets. So there is actually also some concern in terms of soy consumption and vegan babies as well. It is recommended to breastfeed infants where it is possible. However, as we all know, this is not always possible, and according to the Vegan Society, soy formula may be used in these instances, but you should always talk to your doctor or healthcare visitor, health provider, before you start using it. However, we should probably draw attention to the fact that the long-term effects of soy formula consumption are unknown. We don't actually really know what the long-term effects are. More research is definitely needed in this area. There have been some animal studies which show that soy formula can potentially have very detrimental effects on reproductive health and thyroid health, amongst other things as well. But we haven't seen this replicated in human studies. There was a very large study and expert panel opinion on this matter, and they concluded that there was minimal concern about the effects of soy formula on human infants. So that's positive, but more research is definitely needed in this area as well. And also, it is important to say that soy formula actually isn't recommended in preterm or premature babies. It is thought to be a little bit more dangerous for them than it is for term babies. So what do we conclude from all of this? I think it's very clear that the research has shown that we don't really need to be concerned about soy and its effects on health at all. On the contrary, it's a really great source of protein, very nutritious food that vegans can make full use of. But the only concern is with regards to vegan babies. So please do just talk to your doctor or healthcare provider or dietitian if you feel like you need to start using soy formula for your baby. Also, just to finish off with, I did watch a really interesting webinar by the Dr. Mark Messina, who is a soy expert, and he gave a little indication in terms of the amount of soy that we should be consuming on a daily basis. So he suggested a daily intake of around 2 to 4 servings of soy per day. So this is approximately the equivalent of roughly 15 to 25 grams of soy protein, or 50 to 100 milligrams per day of isoflavones. And he did stress that this isn't to say that having 5 portions or more than 4 portions is harmful. It's just that we should really be looking to have a wide variety of different foods in our diet. We should not be relying too much on just one food source. So include soy as a part of a nice balanced diet with plenty of different foods to go along with it, and it will all be absolutely fine. So thank you very much for getting this far into the video. I really appreciate it. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. It's very helpful for me. If you would like to see the information in this video in written form, please check out my blog below. I've put the link below. I've done an article about soy with pretty much exactly the information as there is in this video, so if you prefer to read instead, just have a look at my website. Every single article that I write, I do a video for. See you next time. Thank you very much. Bye bye.